approval through a letter written to the DG of Atiku Campaign Council, Alhaji Aminu Tambuwa. A word of mouth on the podium of a campaign rally cannot solve a committed illusion of an approval. So if you want to see the approval, the rally will hold, we'll inform us and invite all people to be part of that campaign. We will not be the boss.
Dr. Leonard Wibusa, spokesperson, PDP presidential campaign for state. Headlines 5:30, major news 6 p.m. Open season afterwards. A quick commercial break, by the way. We'll be back in a moment. The show continues shortly. Please stay with us.
Reach out, be informed, stay connected to the world, and go for the original story. Go for Nigeria Info.
Rivers people, we go do
my Rivers people, time don't reach. Make we use our hand, change the future of our beloved state for better.
Welcome back to Hard Factor on Nigeria Info, your number one talk station. I'm Dio. Let's talk. 27 gone past 3 p.m. Discussions are on. And I just give a preview of what's coming up on the show today. Once again, in the 5 o'clock hour, I'll be speaking with Lelono Wibubasa. He's our spokesperson, PDP Presidential Campaign Council in Rivers State, on exactly what's going on as regards the intrigues and the drama playing out regarding the venue of the PDP's presidential campaign rally here in Rivers State. He'll join me after the updates by 5 p.m. We've got headlines 5:30 p.m. The major news comes up at 6, and a review of all these matters after that till about 7 o'clock. If you miss out on contributing your thoughts, you still have a chance in that hour, including sharing your thoughts on my side comments for today. Now, speaking of which, here are today's side comments. Once again, random stories and a random source that caught my attention as I checked out the news earlier on. Well, lots of talk about, lots of political matters making the news lately. And unsurprisingly, by the way, it is that time. Once again, while the politicians and the parties are doing their thing, unsurprisingly, expected of them, I hope that you are giving the election some thought as well. Remember, 17 days to go to the presidential election. I know a lot also is taking up your attention at the moment. There's the situation with fuel and the outrageously exorbitant price that you have to buy it at this time. That can be very disturbing, I suppose, or it is, as a matter of fact. And also, getting access to the new or the newly redesigned Naira notes, it's a monumental headache as well. But in spite of all of these challenges, and just add all of that to the challenges you were dealing with by default as a Nigerian living in Nigeria, it can be overwhelming, I suppose. But that's the more reason, all the more reason for you to give some serious thought to these elections. There is a lot riding on these elections. And like I said yesterday, there is a great deal at stake. You must play your role. You have to play your role. And then for those who are saying, who are still saying that the elections don't count, the elections don't, play your role. For those who are saying, oh, the judiciary might botch the process, citing examples like the Olawan case recently, play your role. You cannot say that you're not going to get an education because the MBS says we have high unemployment rates in the country. That's going to be foolhardy. Play your role, get an education, and then you work on getting the job afterwards. So play your role, go out there, vote, and vote wisely. The rest will take care of itself. And calls have been made to security agencies in the state to do their jobs and do them professionally. And I'd like to echo those calls as well. APC chieftain Lawrence Chukwu has urged security agencies to tread with caution while implementing the directives of Governor Nyesom Wike to raid criminal hideouts and clamp down on cultists. He told our correspondent that they believe the directive is aimed at victimizing supporters of opposition political parties in the state. Okay, all right. So recently as well, the governor in a statewide broadcast talked about this as well, and has directed to security agencies to apprehend cultists and other criminals that might be trying to circumvent the process. And these arrests are taking place. But the question is, how about the other political parties that claim to have been attacked by persons and claim that their campaign grounds were destroyed by certain individuals, and in many instances they say these individuals are known. As a matter of fact, they've gone beyond that to even identify and publicly name these individuals. What has the Rivers State Police Command done about this? What is the Rivers State Police Command doing about this? How many of these persons have been arrested? Recently it was reported that some persons belonging to some Atiku support group or something of that nature holding a meeting. It was reported, that's what in the media space, in the public space, they were arrested on allegations of cultism, unlawful gathering, all of that. 20 of them or so are said to have been charged to court already. And maybe they are guilty of some crime. We'll let the court determine that. Even though, remarkably, they have been remanded in custody till after the general elections have been concluded. That's quite remarkable indeed. And remanded in custody till then just to hear their bail application. Interesting times, really. However, once again, the court will determine whether or not they are guilty of a crime. We'll let the judicial process run its course. However, how about these other persons who've been identified by other political parties as being responsible for mayhem unleashed on them and their supporters when they go out for campaigns? I mean, there are videos as well. There are witnesses to some of these events. How many of these persons have been questioned or picked up by the police or charged to court or have been remanded in custody by the courts as well? How many of them? How many of them? So CP Okong Effiong, remember, once again, you adopt the defender of rights when you first arrived here in Rivers State. We'll hope the good people of Rivers State, not to be confused with the well-meaning people of Rivers State, but the good people of Rivers State are hoping that was not done in vain, and that you will indeed stand to protect the rights of Rivers people, and not the rights of some honorables or excellencies. If those can be classified as rights, by the way. And I think we're wrapping up today's side comments on that note. I think that's it. That's it for today's side comments. A very quick break. When I return, today's round comes up. Do please stay with us.
Are you running late and can't make it down?
Hello and welcome back. Still hard facts to Nigeria info here in Port Harcourt, the number one talk station. I'm Dio. Let's talk. We got 24 to go before 4 p.m. I'd like to rant for just a bit. Now I've got something in my mind. I'll be expressing some thoughts in it. I'd like to get your take on mine till 4 p.m. I hope I have enough time for that. Today's rant is about equity. Today's rant is about justice as well. Yeah, I mean, equity, borders, and justice. Today's rant is about fairness. That's what it's about. It's about treating human beings equally because they are human beings, and not treating them differently because of whatever differences it is perceived that they have. Because of differences in their gender, for example, or their race, or their ethnicity, or their color, or their religion, or whatever other orientation that they might have. But treating people fairly, because they are first and foremost, you can't treat people fairly if you don't respect. When you respect people, when you respect human beings, then very likely you're going to treat them fairly, with equity. And that's very important. That's extremely important for us to have a good society, a better society, one that we're all proud of. Any such society must be one that treats people equally and fairly. Now, today's rant is in two parts, if you will. Now, the first part is some cheering story, I do submit. It's a cheering story with a happy ending of sorts. Here it is from our news earlier today. The families of the 3 police officers who were shot dead by gunmen on a flyover in Rumokoro while on escort duties in November 2022 have received the 60 million naira promised them by the River State Governor. Nyesom Wike. Recall that Governor Wike, while launching the River State Emblem Appeal Fund in December 2022, announced a donation of 20 million naira to each of the families of the 3 policemen. Now, yesterday, a cheque of 20 million naira was given to the widows of each slain officer, while a cheque of 10 million naira was presented to an officer who was injured while on active duty. Represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Tami Dinagogo, at the State Police Command Headquarters, Governor Wike said the Officers Welfare Scheme was introduced to encourage and support officers and their families in the face of fatality while on active duty. Let's take a listen to what the Secretary to the State Government had to say on this initiative.
On behalf of the Governor of River State, I present this to you. It's a token check of 20 million naira to support you at this critical time, to support your children, to support other dependents. As I said before, it cannot take care of everything you need, but we believe, apart from the token check, you have our prayers, and God Almighty will support you.
And that's a good thing. It is commendable, no doubt. And it's not the first time that the River State Government has doled out cash to families of slain police officers or slain security men for that matter. It's happened in the past as well. And once again, it is commendable. It's good that, there's the completely in a brighter future. So it's a good thing. It's commendable. And hopefully, the River State Government and other governments, by the way, will emulate this and do even a lot more for our security officers. We do appreciate the great work that they do. And sometimes sadly so, some of them pay the ultimate price. And if or when that happens, it's good to know that their families are going to be taken care of if or when they're gone. Now, I told you it's in two parts, today's rant. So here's the second part to the story. Another story that started on a sad note, but till date has no happy ending. Now, let's go back in time to sometime, I think it was 2020. I think it was 2020. Now, here's a story from PM News. Policeman who shot female colleague dead in River State dismissed. Now, here's the bit of the story. Sergeant Beatrice Osaya, the policeman who shot and killed the policewoman, Lavender Elekwachi, has been dismissed by the police force after the conclusion of investigation and orderly room trial. Commissioner of Police, River State, CP Joseph Mikan, at the time, disclosed this when he led members of his management team on a condolence visit to Ozuzu in a LG over the death of Elekwachi, who was killed last week by police sergeants attached to the state government illegal trading and road decongestion task force. It's very important to remember and to note what led to this female officer's death. It was a team of the River State government's task force, supposedly on duty. This police officer, a male officer, was attached to that task force, and it was in the course of doing their job, whatever it is they do, by the way, really, because anyways, that's a different matter for another day. It was in the course of doing whatever it is that they do that this officer shot another police officer, a female police officer, who, by the way, had nothing to do with the task force, was not attached to the task force in any way, shot her and killed her. Shot her and killed her. And if I remember correctly from the reports we got at that time, this female police officer was trying to intervene in a scenario that she witnessed in a case of injustice where the task force, unsurprisingly, as was, I know this is wrong, side the injustice, some trigger-happy police officer attached to the task force pulled out his gun, fired at her, and killed her. That's what happened. So it's also important to note that this police officer, this female police officer, died on duty. She died while she was doing her job. And one might even say, doing her job well. Defending the innocent. Standing for justice, equity and fairness. The things I mentioned a while ago that formed the basis of today's rant. She was doing her job. The same way those officers that were killed on the late last year on escort duty, they were doing their job as well. The same way other security agents or officers killed in the past in the line of duty whose families were rewarded by the River State government or helped out by the River State government. This female police officer also died, was killed in the line of duty. She was doing her job. She was killed. Now, whilst once again it's commendable that we're doling out 20 million naira to the families of officers who were killed late last year, what has been the fate of the family of this female police officer killed as far back as 2020 in the line of duty? Now, here's the update on our news earlier today. The family of the female police officer, Lavender Elekwachi, who was shot dead by a fellow officer in 2020, is yet to be compensated. Her family has not benefited from the officer's welfare scheme. Is a 7 police officer in River State. So, the husband she left behind, incidentally, happens to be a 7 police officer as well in the state. Now, recall that Lavender Elekwachi was shot by Sergeant Beatrice Osai while on active duty attached to the River State Task Force on street trading at Eneka Roundabout. Sergeant Osai was dismissed after an investigation, and the police commissioner at the time, Joseph Mikan, paid a condolence visit to her family. But 3 years after, her husband, Chimezie Victor, says he's yet to receive any help from the River State Police Command and the state government. Remember that Mr. Victor told our correspondent his wife's corpse was abandoned for 1 year at a police mortuary until he buried her in 2021. And at the time, he said he had written twice to the state government but did not get any response. The question then is, why have other officers, and I hate to say it, but it's glaring, other male officers or male security agents who sadly lost their lives in the line of duty, have had their families, the families they left behind, rewarded in some way by the River State government. They've reached out to them, most recently doling out 20 million naira to 3 families, each to 3 families, making it 60 million. And once again, that's a good thing. But one wonders why this female police officer killed as far back as 2020 in the line of duty by an officer attached to the River State government's task force. Her family has received nothing. Once again, the question is, why? Is it because she is female or she was female? Could that be the reason? Is it because she was not on escort duty Was it because she was not following one honorable, one excellencies to some location or destination? Was it because she was just, as they say, yellow fever, just conducting traffic on the road? Is that the reason? Or is it because His Excellency the Governor forgot? Maybe that's it. So, today's rant serves as a reminder to the Rivers State Governor, of course the Rivers State Government, that the family of late Lavender Elekwachi, a female police officer who was killed in the line of duty by another police officer attached to the Rivers State Task Force on Street Trading and Illegal Motor Parks. A reminder that this family has received nothing from the Rivers State government and supposedly nothing from the Rivers State Police Command as well. So let's look into this. Equity, fairness, justice. If the other officers' families, if the other male officers' families are deserving of 20 million naira each, the family of late Lavender Elekwachi is deserving of that as well. On that note, I end my rant. Thanks for listening. Hope you weren't bored. Let's get your take on mine. Lines open. Call 070-093-0923. 070-093-0923. We are live on facebook.com/Nigeria InfoPH. We're live on Twitter at Nigeria InfoPH as well. Do drop a comment. I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. But for now, once again, number to call 070-093-0923. Do remember to keep it brief and straight to the point, and once a call is answered, do turn off your radio set as well. Number once again, 070-093-0923. I do have some comments already. I think I'll get to some of them right now. Let's see. Let's catch up with some of the comments at this time. Just a moment while I whip those up. Dio, I'm thinking that the governor, Yosef Wike, only gives 20 million naira to the families of policemen killed by unknown gunmen or bandits, not the ones killed by another police officer. Allegedly, that's why Officer Elekwachi's family has not been given anything by the government. Too bad, the governor should do the needful, and that's for me, Vincent. Hello, Hard Fact to welcome, please go ahead. Oh my. 070-0923-0923 is the number to call. Dar, you could be right. Maybe it's because she's a female police officer. I'm looking at it from this point. It will be an admission of guilt, and it will make them liable to be sued. That's in Kanchi. How exactly will it? I don't know. Oh, okay. Well, maybe. 91.3, hello, you're welcome.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, go ahead.
My name is Morris, calling from Ililiwa.
Go ahead, please.
I think it's very unfair that the Rivers State government won't reward the family of the late police officer, the woman. In fact, considering the way she died, being shot by another police officer, it's even a greater offense. So I do not see a reason why she shouldn't be rewarded.
No, she's gone. I believe you're referring to, you mean her family, the family she left behind.
Yes. Actually, I'm referring to her family. Yes, the family should be rewarded.
All right. Levinas Njoko goes, the state government should give financial assistance to the bereaved family, though no amount of money can restore her life. And the State Police Command should also know that the spirit of the late officer is not at rest over the lack of concern shown by her colleagues. Hard Fact to welcome.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. How are you calling from Andoni?
Go ahead.
Hello? Okay. Not because she was a female police officer. The reason for me is that she's trying to stop a policeman and the other policeman and make a task force, not to cut away people market. that day when the other policeman shot her dead. Assuming she's the one that helping the other police people to get out, then another policeman give her that 20 million and send our children to school. Because it's hard to stop his staff force and the policemen not to cut away people go. That's something we refuse to compensate our family with the money. That's my own opinion.
All right, and you are entitled to that, by the way. Also, another message here from Moses, kind of echoing what the last caller said. Good day, Dio. The reason a family has not been attended to by both the River State government and police is because she died doing the wrong thing. They are not expected to stand for the masses, and that's from Moses. Oh my. She was shot dead by her colleague attached to the elite task force of the governor for trying to correct them on their wrongdoings. Therefore, her people will not be given anything. That's from Dami Atira Kasiba. Hard Fancy, welcome. Go ahead.
Hello, Dio.
Go ahead, please.
Good evening. My name is Bright Bush. I'm calling from Motomaya.
Go ahead, Bright.
Okay, I think I understand two things here by nature. You know, when it's a widower, people go and tell the person, please, sorry, take heart. Hello?
Go ahead.
When it's a widow, people go and tell the person, take heart, sorry. Then when it's a widow, then people go and give him money. I don't know if they want anything in return. Then secondly, as a task force, I think Governor Wike is afraid because the woman was killed by task force. Maybe there may be any other illegal action, believing that they may deny that policeman or deny that task force for operating, as in that there's no policeman task force that went and killed any police person. I think that is my belief on that. Thank you.
You're welcome also. The late female police officer will not be compensated because she prevented our men from performing their work which we sent them, and that is inflicting pain on Rivers people. As it's paining them, it is sweating us. All right. I don't think the governor forgot to compensate the family of the slain policewoman. Perhaps his numerous advisors forgot to remind him, and that's some goodness. I've got a commercial break to attend to right now. I'll return in a moment. I've still got a few minutes to go before 4 p.m. when the business news comes up. Still taking your reactions to my rant in a bit. Hard Facts returns shortly. Do please stay with us.
Rivers people, we go do
My Rivers people, time don't reach. Make we use our hand, change the future of our beloved state for better. Time don't reach. Make we vote government. We no go just pro.